The storm had rolled in abruptly, painting the sky a dark gray and blanketing the world in torrents of rain. Inside a small, cozy house on Elm Street, 12-year-old Sarah was nestled on the living room couch. Her parents had gone out for a necessary errand, leaving her alone with a warm blanket and a movie to while away the time. Despite the tempest outside, the warmth of the house offered a comforting embrace. Just as Sarah began to lose herself in the world on screen, a sudden burst of news interruption shattered the fictional narrative. The stern face of a news anchor replaced the cinematic images, his voice carrying an urgent tone that instantly drew Sarah's attention. The message was terse, yet its weight hung heavily in the air. A fugitive, wanted for serious crimes, had escaped custody and was believed to be in the vicinity. The anchor advised all residents to lock their doors and windows and remain vigilant. A cold shiver ran down Sarah's spine as she hastily grabbed the remote to switch off the television. The laughter and comfort from moments ago had evaporated, leaving behind a thick cloud of dread. The howling wind and relentless rain against the windows echoed the chaos outside, adding to the sudden isolation that filled the house. With a pounding heart, Sarah rose from the couch, her small frame trembling. She moved swiftly through the house, ensuring each window was securely latched and every door locked. She switched off the lights, plunging the house into semi-darkness, broken only by the occasional lightning that illuminated the haunting outlines of the furniture. The house, once a haven of warmth and security, had transformed into a maze of shadows and silence. Each tick of the clock resounded like a drumbeat, punctuating the eerie stillness. Sarah retreated to her room, clutching her phone with the police number dialed, ready to press call at the slightest hint of danger. As minutes turned into hours, her eyes darted to every corner of her room, half expecting to see the ominous figure of the fugitive lurking in the shadows. The whispers of the wind seemed to carry voices, each gust a harbinger of the approaching peril. Suddenly, a loud thud against the back door sent her heart plummeting to her stomach. Frozen in fear, she listened as the thuds continued, each one more forceful than the last. Was it the fugitive, seeking refuge from the storm and the authorities in her home? Her thumb hovered over the call button on her phone. The thudding stopped abruptly, replaced by the sound of the doorknob jiggling, attempting to turn under a firm grip. Panicked and desperate, Sarah pressed the call button, her breaths shallow and rapid. She whispered her address and situation to the operator, her voice quivering under the strain of terror. As she hid under her bed, clutching the phone to her chest, the back door suddenly gave way with a resounding crash. Heavy, hurried footsteps echoed through the hallway, their sound a menacing march of doom. The lightning revealed a shadow, elongated and distorted, creeping along her bedroom door. The fugitive was here. In a desperate plea, she whispered to the operator, "Please hurry." Time hung in limbo, each second an eternity of anticipation and fear. The footsteps stopped outside her door, the silence now a brutal symphony of impending danger. Then, with a creak, the door slowly pushed open, revealing a figure, drenched and shivering, its silhouette ominous against the storm's backdrop. Just as despair began to shroud her fragile hope, the sound of sirens, a harmonious melody of salvation, cut through the thunderous cacophony of the storm. The figure in the doorway stiffened, its presence now bathed in the red and blue hues of police lights. The door burst open, revealing officers with guns drawn, their voices commanding and resolute. As the fugitive was apprehended, his futile attempt at escape reaching an abrupt end, Sarah emerged from her hiding, tears mingling with relief and gratitude. The nightmare had ended, leaving behind a residual echo of its terror. The house would once again regain its warmth and safety, its walls embracing Sarah in a gentle hug of protection. But the memory of that stormy night, the haunting shadows and sinister footsteps, would forever linger in the hallowed corridors of her mind, a somber reminder of the fragile veil that separates the sanctuary of home from the chaos that lurks beyond its threshold. In 2014, my family and I moved into an idyllic farmhouse that was over a century old. Nestled in rural Tennessee, the house was in impeccable condition despite its age. We relocated for my daughter's schooling, and the new house allowed both my husband and I an easier commute to work. The tranquility of the countryside filled our days with peace. But unbeknownst to us, this peace would soon be shattered. Our daughter, Emily, then 12, often stayed home alone after school. A quiet, responsible girl, Emily relished her alone time, spent reading or exploring the vast woods behind our house. One summer evening, as a thunderstorm roared, painting the sky with lightning, my husband and I informed Emily that we would be home late. Unperturbed, she assured us she would be fine. We left her with a kiss on the forehead and a reminder to lock the doors. As the clock ticked towards midnight, my cell phone's ring shattered the silence. My heart thudded against my chest as I answered to hear Emily's shaky voice. "Mom, there's someone in the house," she whispered, her words piercing my soul. Panic and terror strangled my thoughts as she recounted her horrifying encounter. While engrossed in a book, she had ventured to the kitchen for a snack. The glow of the hallway light, always turned off as a household rule, hinted at something amiss. Entering the kitchen, her eyes widened in terror at the sight of a figure looming in the shadows. A woman, dressed in a tattered white gown, held a wrench, pilfered from our garage, her eyes wild with malevolence. Emily, demonstrating an uncanny presence of mind, retreated and dialed 911, whispering her ordeal to the operator. As the assailant's menacing footsteps approached her hideaway, Emily's desperate prayers for salvation echoed in the stormy night. The ominous knocking on her door, a haunting echo of doom, sent chills down her spine. The woman's malicious voice, taunting and threatening, promised a horrific fate. In the nick of time, the blare of police sirens pierced the tempest's roar. The intruder's attempt to break down Emily's door ceased abruptly. The forceful entry of the police officers, their determined steps and authoritative commands, culminated in the apprehension of the intruder, her intentions forever sealed in obscurity. Recounting the horrifying tale, Emily's voice trembled. She described the intruder's haunting visage, her menacing height, her eyes ablaze with an inexplicable rage. The memory, etched in her mind, cast a lingering shadow of fear and vulnerability. As she concluded her recounting, I clung to her words, tears mingling with relief and terror. We never left Emily alone again until she reached her later teenage years. The traumatic episode left a perennial scar on her psyche. Now, a mature and vigilant adult, Emily still harbors a haunting fear of solitude. As a mother herself, she instills in her children the importance of safety and awareness. Despite the years that have elapsed, the chilling memory of that fateful night, the horrifying knock on her door, reverberates in her dreams, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace and security. The enigma of the intruder's intentions remains shrouded in darkness. The questions linger, their answers lost in the labyrinth of the unknown. The eerie silence of the nights, the soft glow of the hallway light, the knock on the door. These mundane moments now bear the weight of a haunting memory, a chilling narrative forever intertwined in the fabric of our lives. I was 30 years old, settled in a quaint little apartment in northern New Mexico. It was just me, my two loving daughters, and our brave cat named Midnight, a sleek, black creature with bright green eyes. Our neighborhood was calm, surrounded by towering pine trees that whistled with the wind. The air was always fresh and crisp, and our neighbors were nothing but warm and welcoming. One cool evening in the spring of 2017, I was engaged in my usual routine, washing dishes, organizing the living room, and ensuring the girls' homework was complete. My children were playing with their friends at the local park, and Midnight was snoozing on the windowsill. Wanting to finish up quickly before the kids came back, I moved swiftly through the apartment. My living room window, which overlooked the front porch, was slightly ajar to let in the cool breeze. It made me feel connected to the beautiful nature outside and allowed Midnight to smell the outdoors. As I was drying the last dish, Midnight suddenly sprang awake, his fur bristling and his eyes wide with alertness. I followed his gaze to the window, where the serene view of the forest was now drowned in shadows. Something seemed off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. My heart thudded in my chest, echoing the silence of the night. Midnight's low growl brought me back to reality, and I quietly closed the window, locking it securely. I thanked Midnight, who now walked with caution around the apartment, as if expecting a sudden intruder. It was almost time for my girls to return, so I went to the front porch to wait for them. The outside air was chilly, and the trees whispered secrets. Midnight followed, his walk stealthy and silent. As I stepped onto the porch, I heard a subtle rustle from the bushes beside the house. I froze in my tracks, my heart racing and my palms sweaty. Midnight hissed, his eyes fixed on the dark foliage. I gathered my courage and approached the bushes, ready to confront a lurking animal. The bushes shivered, and then, with a suddenness that took my breath away, a masked figure bolted from the darkness, sprinting into the shadows of the night. I was paralyzed for a moment, my mind racing to comprehend what had just occurred. Was this person lurking around my house, waiting for an opportunity to break in? Midnight, fearless and protective, chased after the intruder but returned moments later, as if understanding that he needed to stay with me. I rushed inside, locking every door and window, my heart pounding against my chest like a desperate echo in a hollow cave. I called the police and reported the incident, their assurances calming my nerves slightly, but the terror lingered, gnawing at my peace. I called my neighbors to inform them of the situation, and they promptly came over, their presence a comforting shield against the night's horrors. The police arrived, their searchlights painting the darkness with streaks of illumination. They searched the area thoroughly but found no one. They suggested it could have been a thief, scared away by my presence and Midnight's bravery. The officers patrolled the area throughout the night, their vigilance a beacon of security in the depth of uncertainty. Days passed in a blur of anxiety and fear. My girls, though scared, showed incredible courage, their spirits unbroken by the encounter. Our neighbors, united and watchful, ensured our safety with communal vigils and shared information. A week later, the mystery unraveled. The police captured a group of burglars responsible for a series of break-ins in the neighboring areas. The men were identified, and the lurking shadows retreated, leaving behind the comforting light of security and camaraderie. Midnight, our feline guardian, received adoration and treats for his unwavering bravery. I hugged my girls tighter each night, their laughter a melodious anthem of resilience. The experience, though harrowing, fortified our bonds, leaving behind a legacy of strength, courage, and the unyielding protection of love and community. The peaceful whispers of the pines returned, their tales now woven with the threads of survival and unity. The stars shined brighter, their light a timeless guardian of the nights that danced in the embrace of serenity.